So the President of the United States has been taken into hospital with COVID-19 caused by the virus SARS-CoV-2. Now, over the course of this pandemic, I've been making videos to break down the information about the virus and how it works. And this is a very significant moment within this pandemic to show that nobody is immune, and the President of the United States is now in hospital with COVID-19. Now, we have to pay particular attention to the symptoms of the president, and by all accounts he's been suffering from fever, fatigue, lethargy, and has now developed the signatory cough that is associated with COVID-19. And most importantly, it's the shortness of breath that he has been showing. So that was probably prompting the decision to take him from the White House to hospital, because not all COVID-19 patients are hospitalized, but the fact that he has this shortness of breath, it could be an indicator. And the fact that over the last 24 hours, 48 hours, he's going in the wrong direction, they really need to keep a close eye on this. And the fact that Donald Trump is actually a prime candidate, a play on words there, for a really severe case of COVID-19, because he's 74 years old, he's got age against him. He's had a history of cardiovascular disease, he has high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and he is obese by his BMI calculated on his weight, which is definitely also going to go against him. So they really have taken the precaution to take him into hospital to, keep an eye on things, because he is in a category where patients have had severe cases and had to be put on ventilation with breathing tubes. So he is in this category of patient with everything else that he's got going against him. So they really need to keep a close eye on it over the next few hours, days, and even weeks. So what treatments will the president undergo while he's in hospital? Well, the shortness of breath would indicate that there is perhaps fluid on the lungs. So he will definitely undergo a CT CAT scan of the lungs to determine the degree of COVID pneumonia, and that's the inflammation within the lungs, if there is any. He will probably also, because he's the president, have a CT angiogram where they inject contrast dye into the vein, which then enters the blood vessels of the lungs to show up any clots or blockages, which is indicative of COVID-19 patients. They will also be paying close attention to his blood work, and in particular to his lymphocytes or white blood cells, because the prognosis with patients with very low levels of lymphocytes or white blood cells is far worse, as is the case in patients with low albumin levels, which is a protein formed by the liver. Now, they're also going to be looking at D-dimer levels, and they'll be looking at the president to see whether he's got elevated levels of D-dimer. And what that is, it's fragments of protein that are present in the blood from the breaking down of blood clots by fibrinolysis. And this would indicate, if he's got high levels of D-dimers, that blood clots could form as a result of COVID-19. So they will be paying close attention to that. And as a result, he probably will be given blood thinners to make sure blood clots can't take a hold. Now, he'll probably also be given dexamethasone and remdesivir on a daily basis, which are shown to help with patients with moderate or severe COVID-19. But anything could happen. These are very uncertain days indeed for the president, and because over the last 24, 48 hours he has progressed in the wrong direction, then this is not great news for him. And the fact that he's been hospitalized, and not all patients with COVID-19 are hospitalized, so this is not a good sign. But we will have to pay close attention, and anything could happen over the next hours, days, and even weeks.